If you're a student of history and, well, a fellow survival-minded thinker, you already know that some of the greatest lessons in practical fieldcraft didn't come from textbooks or weekend camping trips, but from the men who had no choice but to master the environment in order to survive. Today, we're breaking down a counterintuitive fact that tends to surprise even seasoned outdoorsmen. Soldiers throughout history often slept better in snow than many modern campers do in mild weather. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the Prepper Historian, because this channel exists for people like you. People who want hard, well-researched knowledge, not recycled wilderness clichés. Now, let's start with a strong point. When experienced soldiers bedded down in winter conditions, especially in deep snow, they weren't relying on luck or bravado. They followed disciplined, tested methods that modern recreational camping tends to overlook. Understanding those methods not only explains their surprising comfort, it also equips you with practical, no-nonsense techniques you can use in real emergencies. And that's exactly why this topic is worth your time. Soldiers slept better in snow because they mastered environmental insulation rather than fighting the cold. One thing modern campers get wrong is assuming that comfort depends on avoiding the cold altogether. Historically, soldiers understood that the real enemy wasn't low temperature. It was heat loss. Snow, counterintuitive as it sounds, is one of the best natural insulators available. Seasoned troops knew how to turn it into an asset rather than a threat. They learned this by necessity during campaigns, from Napoleon's march to the Eastern Front soldiers building snow platforms in the Second World War. Snow traps air, and air is the key to retaining warmth. Soldiers compacted snow to create level platforms that prevented body heat from draining into the frozen ground. Modern campers often skip this entirely and lie directly on cold soil or thin foam pads, losing heat all night. You can apply this knowledge today by creating a snow bed exactly the way soldiers did. Pack the snow into a firm, elevated platform, smoothing it out with boots or a pack. Let it harden for a few minutes so it supports your weight. By raising yourself off the raw ground and trapping insulating air beneath you, you remove one of the biggest factors that ruins sleep outdoors: conductive heat loss. Soldiers slept better because their bedding systems focused on layers that controlled moisture rather than layers that added bulk. Modern outdoor gear has a weakness soldiers understood centuries ago. It often prioritizes warmth over dryness. Soldiers knew that even a slightly damp blanket becomes a thief of warmth. In snowy environments, they prioritized keeping sweat and condensation away from their bodies. During the Finnish Winter War, for example, soldiers slept in snow huts where humidity levels stayed low, reducing moisture buildup in their bedding. They layered wool, nature's moisture manager, against their skin and used outer layers to shield from wind and snow dust. Modern campers tend to overheat in their sleeping bags, sweat inside them, and then wake up freezing at 3 in the morning. The old principle still applies today. Stay just barely warm enough, not hot. If you're applying this in a modern scenario, sleep with your base layer slightly loosened, vent your bag early in the night, and avoid crawling in while overheated from physical exertion. This echoes what Second World War mountaineering units were taught: dry body, dry base layer, controlled warmth. Soldiers slept better because they built shelters that took advantage of the snow rather than fighting it. Snow shelters weren't optional luxuries. They were survival infrastructure. Soldiers learned that snow muffles wind, stabilizes temperature, and provides a calm microenvironment that modern nylon tents just can't match. A snow trench or partial snow wall breaks wind far more effectively than any ultralight tent flap ever will. Many modern campers honestly underestimate wind chill, which can rob more body heat in minutes than cold air alone would in hours. If you ever need to apply this, build a quick snow wall on the windward side of your camp. Even a knee-high barrier makes a dramatic difference. In a real survival situation, a shallow snow trench combined with a poncho overhead creates a stable sleeping space soldiers relied on from Korea to the Alps. This takes 10 minutes, not an hour, and restores the natural stillness your body needs to sleep in bitter conditions. Soldiers slept better because they went to bed with predictable routines that primed the body to rest. Modern campers tend to treat sleep as a break in the adventure. Soldiers treated it as maintenance. In winter campaigns, they followed rituals that maximized rest. Eating a hot, heavy meal before bedding down, warming the blood with light movement but not exertion, and prepping their sleep system methodically. They weren't toughing it out. They were optimizing their physiology. A practical way to apply this today is simple. Before sleeping outside in cold conditions, eat something fatty. Soldiers use bacon, tallow, or hard biscuits for the same reason this still works now. Slow-burning calories act as internal heat. Do a minute of non-sweating movements, like slow squats or arm rotations. Then get into your sleeping system immediately, keeping the heat you just generated. These old routines have been field-tested for centuries, and they still outperform most modern camping habits. Soldiers slept better in snow because they respected the environment, while modern campers underestimate it. The difference is mindset. Soldiers accepted that snow wasn't an enemy. It was a material to work with. They understood wind direction, snow density, and nightfall timing. Modern campers often assume gear will compensate for bad planning, and that's when discomfort begins. Once you shift to the soldier's perspective, using the landscape instead of fighting it, your cold weather sleep improves dramatically. Apply this by arriving at your campsite earlier, observing wind lines on snow drifts, choosing natural depressions that shield from gusts, and using snow itself as your insulation. These decisions take seconds, but change the entire night's outcome. If you found these insights valuable, make sure you subscribe to the Prepper Historian and share this video with someone who appreciates real, hard historical fieldcraft. There's a world of forgotten knowledge out there, and together we're bringing it back.